John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hey there, this is John Ulzheimer. I am a consumer credit expert. I have almost 30 years of experience in the credit industry. I've spent time at FICO, which is the company behind the FICO credit scoring system, and Equifax, which is one of the three generally recognized credit reporting agencies in the United States. Welcome to the Westminster Schools campus. It's going to take me half an hour to get off campus. So today's topic is, why do your credit scores differ across the credit reporting agencies? This is a really good question. It actually kind of underscores a pretty common myth in the world of credit scoring, which is that you only have one credit score. So you probably hear people say things like, oh, my FICO score is 800 or my VantageScore is a 750. And it suggests, based on that type of comment, that you have a single credit score, and then that single credit score kind of fluctuates up and down like the temperature on a thermometer, and it's just kind of this singular measurement that is constantly changing. Well, unfortunately, that's not true. You don't have a single credit score. You have dozens of credit scores. Most of them you probably have never even heard of, and you probably have never seen. So the question is not necessarily why do you have all these credit scores, but why would they be different across credit reporting agencies? So let's make this really simple. Let's talk specifically about just one of your FICO scores or just one of your VantageScore credit scores. So why would those scores be different across credit reporting agencies? And so the answer, there's actually a variety of answers to that question. It's interesting. When I interviewed with FICO many years ago, this was one of my interview questions, is why would a credit score differ across credit reporting agencies? So let's talk about all the reasons why this can be the case. Number one is the models are different. For FICO, the models are custom developed by FICO specifically for each of the credit reporting agencies. And so when FICO builds the models for Equifax, they're custom built based on Equifax data. And the same thing can be said for both TransUnion and Experian's version of the FICO score. So custom developed. And so because they're custom developed, the models are going to be different. Because the models are going to be different, it's very unlikely that they're going to gin out the same score for a consumer across all three of the bureaus. That's number one. Number two is, and this is the primary answer to the question, is their data. The data is going to be different. So if you were to pull all three of your credit reports, which you should do from time to time, and basically kind of set them, metaphorically set them next to each other and then start comparing the information, you're going to notice that your credit reports are not the same. There is going to be information that appears on one that may not necessarily appear on the other two, or vice versa. What you're generally going to see is you may have inquiries that appear on one of your credit reports that don't appear on the other credit reports. You may have accounts that appear on one of the credit reports but that do not appear on the other reports. You may have accounts that appear across all three of your credit reports. However, they update during different times of the month. So maybe your Amex card updates on a certain day with one credit bureau, but on a different day with a different credit bureau. So even though it's the same account across all three of the reporting agencies, the update cycle isn't the same, and so your credit reports are going to be different. So that's really the primary reason, is the data is going to be different. The interesting thing about, and one of the differences between FICO and VantageScore, FICO's models are in fact different across all three bureaus. VantageScore's models are not. They're actually normalized, meaning that you have, if you did in fact, and this would be very unlikely, but if in fact you did have carbon copy identical credit reports across all three of the credit bureaus, your Vantage scores would be the same, because the model is the same and the characteristics are normalized across the three reporting agencies. It's not important that they're the same. It's important that they're similar. And here's why. Your credit score should tell the same story about you, meaning that if you have a FICO score or a VantageScore credit score, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that the scores all indicate something similar, either that you're very, very low credit risk, that you're moderate credit risk, or unfortunately that you're high credit risk. That's what lenders really want to see. They don't care that the digits are the same. It's almost like, let me give you a really good example. If you're looking at a thermometer and the temperature on one thermometer is 91 degrees and on another thermometer it's 90 degrees, those aren't the same temperature, but guess what? They both indicate that it's really hot. So they're really telling the same story. So it's kind of the same way with credit scores. If you have a credit score, if you have a Vantage score of 750 and a FICO score of 770, they both tell the same story, which is that you're a really good credit risk. Similarly, if you have scores in the 500s, they both tell the same story, that you're a really, really poor credit risk. So hopefully this helps you distinguish between, why you have different scores across the bureaus. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. I finally got off campus, almost 5 minutes. Thank you very much for watching. We'll talk again soon. Have a great rest of your day.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.tradelinesupply.com.